Only the highest grade 100% Arabica beans. Great coffee, simple. Good evening, Facebook, and welcome to another post-show session live from the Expresso studio. What a dramatic episode we had tonight with a live elimination challenge. I am now hanging out with our judges, Goode, Thando, Thabethe, and Dr. Musa. Judges, what a show. Sure. What a show.
That was brutal.
That was.
We were actually having a conversation about how it's going to be like this for a while. There's going to be these like cringe-worthy moments, and then it's going to start getting really heavy.
Yeah.
Hey, Musa?
Like in your competition, I think as you get closer and closer to the end, like a top two, the winner is, it gets more intense and there's no room for mistakes. And I think today was really just that, is that a lot of the time, and I said this earlier on in the show, we sound like we're happy people, and we are in the corridors, but to be honest with you, we have to be critical, we have to fight you, we need to tell you what the problems are right now so that you can fix them if you can make it past that point in time.
I think it's also important to note that it's all love, right? It's all love, but we've been tasked with a job, and that's entertaining South Africa, or finding someone to entertain South Africa every single morning. Exactly. And it can't be 10 people, unfortunately, so we're gonna have to start nitpicking. Yeah. And I mean, how difficult was that challenge?
Let's talk about the very first challenge, though. They had to interview a celebrity, find out how they wake up. I mean, these people invited these contestants into their home. What were some of the most standout moments for you, Roger?
I got to start with what we said about Dean.
Yeah.
Dean, we want to see Dean do something out of his comfort zone.
Yeah.
I think he's got to get down. We also, Oleto, like from the beginning, we were crazy about her. But again, I'd like to see her maybe in a different kind of environment.
I also would love to see her in a scenario where she's more able to just be herself. I think she's got an incredible voice, and sometimes when your voice sounds like you're meant to be on TV or meant to be on radio, it can easily sound presentary. So I'd love to see her kind of shake it off and just be herself, because that's what people want to see.
Like less formal, less corporate.
Less corporate, less serious, less, you know, and more espresso.
Exactly.
Yeah. Look, today's challenge was quite difficult. You're walking into someone else's life, and these are different people. So a lot of the time, celebrities are these happy people that you must always see them smiling, but you get to their house and they give you one word as an answer, and now you need to be creative and get your way out of that.
That's tough.
And you're being recorded, and this is stuff that they're going to show on a live show. So it's very tricky, but
also, we have to see them. We have to see them.
Who?
And, well, she's going to hate us if we, like, you know, give her the worst colleague ever.
Please.
Oh, yeah, then there's that.
It's like, you remember that time? That you voted on? And now we're stuck with him.
Well, of course, you at home, you can weigh in on this. And if you would like to ask any of the judges or any of our guests a question, then you can let us know right now in the comment section. We might be reading your questions out a little bit later on. But I know that something that everybody wants to talk about is the mistakes. What were some of the glaring errors you guys saw? Because naturally, you're at the forefront of all of those. What did you pick up, Thando?
And tell
the truth, girl.
And it was more than one person who was going on about so you went so today we are at
it's the crutch words.
Yeah. But I mean, we're all guilty of it, right? And I guess once you get into a job, it's one thing when you're trying to get a job, and I think it's important to note that. It's one thing when you're in an audition for a job, it's another when you have the job. Because then you're able to 100% be yourself. And when you're still vying for it, you're putting your best foot forward and sometimes maybe sabotaging yourself in the process.
Yeah. So, Dr. Musa, what did you pick up?
Look, I think there's an element of preparation that needs to go into all things, but you need to be flexible in your preparation, which is what I think a lot of the guys are struggling with, because they're starting off, they sound like they're ready to rock and roll, and then the director says, oh yeah, by the way, we're not going to interview that person anymore, we need someone else. If you're this rigid person that has not learned anything except these facts about this one specific person, you're going to have a very tough time. So I think be flexible in your preparation.
Also, it's a breakfast show, and he'll tell you, guests are not trying to wake up in the morning.
No.
So they always changing. I think another thing is when you're interviewing someone, important to listen. Listen to what the person is saying.
That's like the thing I struggle with in life so much.
He's always twitching, thinking, what's the next question?
I had to learn this, and it's like, so it took me ages to like get better at that.
And you find that the person you're interviewing can read that you're listening, whether or not they're aware of it, but they end up opening up to you more, being themselves to you more.
And that was also the
like,
feedback tonight as well. He could see that the next question was being formulated without actually listening to what he's currently saying.
So it's okay, park something just in case, but listen, because chances are so much better will come out of whatever conversation you're actually having. Like we're having now.
Powerful.
You haven't, when last did you ask a question?
I know.
I think attention to details, what's important here, is that you can go in there prepared, ready to ask all the questions that you want to ask, but let the mood of the interview take you where it needs to take you. So as long as you know the general idea of where you want the interview to go, hi, I'm at Thando's house, I want to find out about where she started, where she's going, and what she sees the world looking like in the next 10 years.
And go through her lingerie.
I mean, that too. I mean, we definitely we really want to try some of it.
Try it on.
Keep Roger far away from your lingerie.
One more thing, I think it makes it so much easier when you know the person. So if you've done your research, you're not constantly thinking, what's the next question? Because it's like, I mean, if I know where you live, how old you are, how many siblings you have, and we're having a conversation, and somehow it happens you talk about your brother, then I remember, oh, your brother plays cricket. You know, it's just preparing for the interview and then living in the moment.
Yeah, and how wonderful for the person that's being interviewed when you have those little tidbits of information that they don't have to give you. You know, it says that you're prepared. Now, I'm sitting with probably 3 of the biggest stars in the country. Y'all can pay me later. But you guys have interviewed some of the biggest celebrities. What is the most challenging part of interviewing a celebrity?
I don't know. I've had bad experiences, but mine are like just because they got PR companies that are attached to them and they'll get a list of do's and don'ts. But trying to put like musicians, we were saying musicians, you know, musicians are like, for some reason, are the most trickiest. Sometimes you get a luck, but like you've almost got to try and polish a, you know.
I think, rappers are very tough. Just because they don't want to talk. I don't know what it is, like it's a street cred thing. But at the same time, I think we downplay how important it is what happens in between. So when the mic's not on, when the cameras are not rolling, what conversations are you having? And as soon as you make someone feel like they're your friend, boom, shaka.
Exactly. Well, Pumla on Facebook actually said that the judges are doing a great job. Fair criticism. Fair criticism. How do you feel about that, Dr. Musa?
I think it's the truth. Look, we can be mean people and we could, but we all know this is a competition.
You should have heard us on the plane.
Look, we're not mean-spirited people. We're here to do a job. And the job is to give you the best that we can. And this is to find the best that we can. So if we see a problem, we're not saying that, you know, this person is terrible, they're the worst. No. What we're saying is, this is what the issue is. Are you going to fix it or not?
Lie to them. Just keep lying.
And like we said to them, the fact that you've made top 10 is, it means that there's something there. So I think it's also important to listen to what people have to say and learn. You can only but grow.
Exactly. There we go. You can only but grow. Roger, I feel like you wanted to say something.
Just lie now.
Oh, come on, stop it. Well, thank you so much, judges. You've been phenomenal. This is only the beginning. We have so many more weeks of going through this over and over again. But we've heard straight from the judges. But I'm sure all of you at home are dying to hear from the 2 contestants who competed in that live elimination challenge, where they were given a limited amount of time to work together and present a Heritage Month cooking segment. Remember that you can still ask any questions you have to our guests, to the contestants, to the judges. Simply leave your comment in the comments section. We're actually going to say goodbye to the judges.
Thank you so much.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you so much. Go and live your best lives.
If we can't handle the heat, we should get out of the espresso kitchen.
Basically. Yes. Oh, stop it. And now we're going to invite the precious and pretty twins as well as Nathaneal. Okay, Roger, you got everything you need? Oh, ladies and one gentleman. Before I talk to the twins, Nathaneal, very close there. Very, very, very close. Let's talk about your first challenge, having to interview Gert Johan Coetzee. What were some of the biggest lessons that you learned there?
So, Leigh-Anne, that right there, that's the first lesson. Yeah, I think, like I said in my link and insert, when you're inexperienced with TV and it is a new ball game for you, you start falling into these habits. And like the judges said, it's a clutch phrase that you always depend on. And that was one of the things. The second thing was, again, like the judges pointed out, bringing the audience in, man. It's so important to make them feel like they are literally with you, holding your hands, walking into Gert Johan Coetzee's house. Definitely something that I will go into the next challenges with, and it only makes sense. I'm not sitting here like, oh my word, no, you guys are so wrong. No, it makes sense, and it's only logical for me to implement it.
I love it. Our precious and pretty twins, your journey has come to an end on Presenter Search on 3. You really were a joy to watch. Did you enjoy being on the show and, of course, in the competition?
I must say we're grateful for the opportunity, and so far being in the competition, we've learned a lot, you know, because it was like our first time, you know, the experience was like massive. And I must say we're grateful, and next time we're going to pull out our socks, pull out better, and do better.
Yeah, of course, naturally it's very disappointing. You've come such a far way. You were on Expresso and now, of course, here as well. What do you think was one of the biggest things for even you? Because when you're doing something, even me as a presenter, I know when I'm doing a link or when I'm doing an interview, I'm like, oh man, I am not cracking it right now. From your, you know, position, what do you think was the moment where maybe the judges were like, not really happening right now?
I think it's when we did our first challenge with baby Leigh. At first we thought we were comfortable and she was, you know, feeling the interview. But after watching it from the other side, you see your mistakes that you've made and you feel as if I could have done better there.
Yeah.
So basically, I think it was more of what we did for the first challenge.
Yeah. What do you say?
Yeah, just to echo on that. I think next time, you know, that when you're not in studio, it's a different atmosphere. You need to be like composed and stuff like that. And that's all I can say.
Well, Suzelle Pfeiffer on Facebook actually says, well done, girls. You know,
thank you.
Keep going. So you've got a fair amount of fans in the country. And, you know, this is a wonderful opportunity because, yes, you're thrown in the deep end, but you also get the opportunity to learn so much. Not everyone gets the opportunity to learn from some of the best in the country. What have you learnt from baby Leigh that you interviewed, from the judges as well, from the entire experience, being in the kitchen tonight with Gabby? What will you take away from this competition?
Perseverance and patience.
Yeah.
Because as Thando said, maybe it's not the right time for us to make it all the way through, but it was an experience that I will never forget. So, perseverance and patience.
And I really have to say that it did boost our confidence because it just, you know, gave us that go factor, you know. So basically, I think as we did challenges and met different people, they give different advice. As baby Leigh as well said, you need to own it. You need to be comfortable. So we're taking that as well to say, just own your space and enjoy every moment.
Exactly. Well, if you had the opportunity to give South Africa one last goodbye and tell them that watch this space, you'll be back soon. Maybe you can look at that camera there and then tell South Africa what you want them to know about this opportunity and, you know, whether or not we'll be seeing you again. I feel like you don't want to. I don't want to do that.
Got this.
All right. In 3, 2, 1, and action.
Thank you so much, South Africa. And this is definitely not the last time you guys are seeing these faces. We'll take this opportunity and move on and do greater things.
And keep on watching #Presenter Search on 3.
Hey, the precious and pretty twins. Come on. Thank you, my darlings. Thank you, Nathaneal. You've got your work cut out for you. We'll see you next week on the competition again. But as we usher them out of here, we're going to invite onto the couch the winner of our Viewers' Choice Challenge. Of course, they had to go all out on social media, but essentially, you voted for her, South Africa. The one, the only, Kushle Adams. Make some noise. Pew, pew, pew. Wow. A second chance, huh? How does it feel to be back in the competition, Kushle?
Absolutely amazing. Oh, man, this opportunity, listen, I'm taking it with both hands. It's scary. It was
scary.
It was emotionally taxing. It was a close encounter towards the end, but because of South Africa, I am here.
Of course, because of South Africa. So you are now joining the challenge.
Yes.
Everybody got the opportunity to interview a celebrity. You tonight heard, while coming back into the competition,
yes,
you are also interviewing a celebrity. How ready are you for the one and only Jeannie D?
absolutely love Jeannie D. She's one of my favorite people, or entertainers, or TV personalities, rather. And I think growing up, she was my it girl.
Wow.
You know, so being given the opportunity, or afforded the opportunity to actually sit down and get to know her and start off the day with her is something that I'm always going to cherish forever. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah. You know, last week, what impressed me about you, what blew me away, and I think probably the most of South Africa, is when you walked onto the floor.
Yes.
You made your voice count. It was an incredibly emotionally devastating week for us as South Africans.
Yeah.
With everything that we were hearing with regards to the xenophobia and the gender-based violence, and our hearts were hurting.
Yes.
And you walked onto the floor and you said something that was so pivotal and so right. Do you think that you said the right thing at the right time, and that maybe South Africa just needed to hear that?
South Africa did need to hear it, but I don't think it's a matter of right thing at the right time. I think it's always relevant to have these conversations about issues that affect us as women or as a nation. So being afforded that opportunity or platform to be on there, it wasn't the right time to choose silence. So I had to use the platform to say, hey, this is what's going on, and we can make a change.
Is this something that's quite passionate for you?
Yes.
Is it a voice that you will continue to use for this cause?
Oh, absolutely. I think, yes, because these are young girls. It's close to home, Leigh-Anne, you know? And it's not like you aspire to be a, fight for, you know, freedom, etc., but because we are given the responsibility, you don't ask for it. You take it and you accept it with grace, and you're just like, I'm going to do what I can in my personal space to make the change that I want to see in my country.
Power right there. Let's talk about that powerful lead that you had on the Twitter polls. You had a pretty big lead from the beginning. People loved you. Zinande, we got to give it to her, was close on your heels. She was hot on your heels. What do you think it was that just gave you that extra edge?
So my followers in general want to see me win. They are so genuine in their following, and they've been there since day one. So they've seen my growth in the industry. They've seen my contribution to the industry, as small as it may be. And that's why they went in so hard at campaigns after campaigns to ensure that they get the results that are what they are, which is me being afforded a second opportunity to be here. So above and beyond all of that, I think people see the work, but Zinande, wow. She Dynamite. I mean, I worked. We both worked, and I think everyone who was the option to be a wild card worked, and I'm just really grateful that I am here.
Well, you are here. Welcome back to the game, baby. Congratulations. Kuhle Adams officially back in Presenter Search on 3. Well, that is a wrap for another post-show discussion live on Facebook. Make sure that you tune in to Expresso tomorrow morning, when we will be having a very, very special surprise, chatting about the journey that our incredible contestants have had on Presenter Search on 3. Good night and God bless. Only the highest grade 100% Arabica beans. Great coffee, simple.
Another feel-good production.